Hey, it's Lynn Brown. Welcome to the Gritty Women Global Podcast. I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. And honestly, I spent the first half of my life people pleasing. And in my spare time, I was pretty much trapped by the opinions of others. But then one day, I took a step in the direction of my dream. And now I've committed the rest of my life on this big blue rock to empower, equip, and accelerate growth in the lives of women and girls of all ages all over the globe. I mean, we've started a movement. It's the Gritty Women movement. I love the story told of a scientist that divided a pond in half one day, and he separated the pond with a pane of glass. The first few days, the fish constantly bumped into the glass on both sides. But it didn't take long, and the fish learned that the pane of glass was impassable. And they just started to avoid it. Then one day, the scientists removed the glass. The fish were now free to swim in the entire pond. But not one of them did. They had learned that lesson all too well. They grew old and they died. And they never discovered the barrier that they had based their lives on their whole life. They had looked at that barrier and they didn't even realize it had been removed years ago. And so it is with people. I mean, some people, that is. Some people are like this. But we look at our lives and we usually see, about three things. Like the place we are now, whatever's happening, the place we want to be, and then we see whatever the thing is, whatever the wall is that's dividing those 2 points. And it's so frustrating because the wall is translucent. I mean, we can see to the other side, and we can even imagine how much better our lives would be. And we sit around, and it's like, only if, we were strong enough or smart enough or rich enough or skinny enough or gritty enough, or if we lived in this city or we had this family, if our hair was curly or if it was straight, or if we even had hair, or if we were red or yellow or black or white or purple or whatever. I mean, so many live out their days swimming in these slow circles, just resigned to shrinking and living small, shriveled up worlds. I will have to say that I played small for quite a quite a few years of my life, and I don't recommend it for anyone. And we think that wall is like half a mile thick, and we think it's bulletproof, and there's no way. But the truth is, it's really so thin. It kind of reminds me of in the wintertime in North Florida where we grew up. On all of our country roads, there would be mud puddles, and they would freeze, and there would be the thinnest coat of ice, and we would think we could ice skate. Well, haha. I mean, it was like paper thin, but it'd be so easy to break through. But we don't see that really we're the ones that can be a half inch thick and bulletproof. I mean, we can, create these thoughts and this mindset, and we can believe in our value and our worth. I mean, we were created and designed for greatness. All we have to do is just turn our head and move forward, moving toward what we desire. Even if it makes us a little, fearful, we gotta run toward the fear, like we talked about last week. We gotta run towards the fear, not run from it. And it's so funny because that wall just dissolves as we put our nose in. It begins to dissolve. We can change anything about our life. Anything. You can change your body as far as the physical part of your body. I mean, you can change, your muscle tone, your health, your relationships, your bank account, your career, your marriage, your zip code, your mindset. You can even increase your joy and your level of grittiness. Everything's always just kind of hanging in the balance, but we're just one step away. I mean, I'll never forget, after my heart attack, I remember going on my first walk after the 6 weeks, was over, and I could go on a walk. And honestly, I mean, it's kind of, I guess, a little bit embarrassing to say this, but I mean, I'm over that. But I was nervous. I was actually kind of scared to go out on this walk. But the next day, I went a little bit farther. I think I made it to the end of our driveway. And then there came a day that I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try to run a little bit. Well, it's more like a jog, or maybe more like a really fast crawl. But anyway, I called it running. And then I kept on. And then there was a day, I'll never forget this day. I went with one of my friends, and she just started running down this trail, and I just followed her, and I ran 3 miles. I was so grateful for that day. But it started with one step, one small step. I mean, 70% of humans start a plan and quit. I cannot tell you how many Mondays I have started a program. Now, that's a little term I use for limited calorie intake. I mean, I've tried every one. I have tried every program that ever was, and I've quit most of them. But now I finally changed my approach to it. When I changed my belief, everything changed. I believe with all my heart that you have tuned in to this Gritty Women podcast for some reason. I don't know, but I believe probably that you want more. That some of you have the belief to get the job done, and some of you don't. And both of you are welcome here. I promise. I promise you that. But please, if you need to borrow some belief, it's okay. Just raise your hand. Take some of mine. I mean, I am practically begging people to take it. Nothing makes my heart smile more than for you to send me a message that you were encouraged by something you heard on the podcast, that it was one of my friends said, it was like you were talking to me. Nothing makes my heart smile more than that, to know that I have been an encouragement, because there have been so many people, as I look back in my life, that have been such an encouragement to me. Maybe you're just getting up from an epic fall. The truth is, we're either getting over a big fail or a fall, or we're going into one, or we're smack dab in the middle of the mess right now, and it's messy in the middle. But y'all, that's life. And I know you know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But there are really only two things we can control. Pretty much our attitude, or let's say our gritty attitude, and our effort, our gritty effort. And I'm just going to tell you the truth. And I know you know this, but sometimes the things we know and do are two different things. But y'all, life is not going to get better by chance. It's only going to get better by change. Things changed for me. I will tell you, when my belief changed, things began to change, because we know, I've said it one time, I've said it a million, and I'll say it forever. Our belief drives our behavior. And if you don't hear anything I say, please hear this with all your heart. But what people think about you is nothing compared to what you believe about yourself. Oftentimes we spend so much time consumed by the opinions of other people and what they're thinking, and they're not really thinking anything about us. So really, what really matters is what you believe about yourself. Do you believe your worth? Do you believe that you were created by a perfect creator, and that you were created for greatness? It's just like those little fish. I mean, they lived their whole life believing if they were this or that, if they were big enough, or if they were bold enough, or if they were brave enough, then they could have broken through that glass. And the truth of the matter is, that glass had been removed years and years ago. So, sometime take a good look in the mirror. I mean, that's your competition. You're worried about all these circumstances and all this stuff outside of you, but you look in that mirror, that face looking back at you, so often that's your greatest competition. So many people sit in churches for years and years and years, or I will just say I did. I personally sat in a church for years and years and years, feeling like I was just hitting my head against, the ceiling, thinking there's got to be more than this. I heard the messages, but I did not believe them for me. or we go to a conference or a one-day event, or we watch a YouTube video, or we copy a Pinterest quote and put it on our fridge and somehow think, if we click our heels together with our ruby red slippers, that everything's going to be okay. We put a bumper sticker on our car. We read, get the quote in the fortune cookie, whatever it is. I don't know what the thing is, but this change, in order for it to happen, it's daily. It has to happen every day. It doesn't happen in a day. It happens every day. And moving to a gritty mindset takes work. Wishing, hoping, begging, it's not going to do it. We all have to get up at some point. It's like the dude by the pool in John 5. My favorite book, the Bible. John 5. He finally got up after 38 years. He got up. And we have to get up. We have to grit up. We know for a fact, it is proven that writing daily gratitude and having an attitude of thankfulness will restore joy. But there's so many people that I've told this to. Every time I speak, every time I coach, every time I train, I challenge the group of people there to do this for 30 days and to text me and to let me know that they've done it consistently every day for 30 days and that I will have a prize for them. And I can tell you that I haven't heard back from tons and tons of people, because what we know to do and what we actually do are sometimes two different things. But we know that actually putting the pen to the paper, writing down gratitude, daily gratitude every day, it works. Trust me. It's kind of like this. If it hurts, then it works. Discipline, it's just not a fun, loving, zippity-doo-dah kind of sexy kind of word. It's just not. Discipline is just like, discipline, is there any other way I can do it? Well, no, there's not. To get back into my skinny jeans, I had to begin to create space for discipline in my life. Every morning, after my quiet time and my gratitude and my start today journal and all those things I do in the morning, I hit the pavement every morning. And today I did core work, and yes, it hurt. And probably tomorrow, I probably won't be able to move very fast. But that's too bad. That's what it's going to take to get me where I want to go. We got to be resilient. We know that the G in gritty stands for that gratitude, and R stands for resilient. We got to get back up. We have to inspire. This past Saturday, we were on the beach celebrating our grandson's 3rd birthday, and I built a huge sand castle, and the waves just washed it away with a little help from my grandson. He just destroyed it, and it was so much fun. But in a few minutes, I looked over, and there were about 5 or 6 little 3-year-olds, and they gathered around and began building it back. Somebody walked by and said, "Look what you inspired them." Who are you inspiring? And maybe you need to start with yourself. But what are you thinking about? What are your thoughts? Your thoughts matter. What you think about matters. What area in your life? Where do you need to really get tough? To really need to just break through that wall that you think is impassable, that is truly not even there. Getting gritty is not for wimps. We know that. And I'm telling you, whatever it takes to make you feel that, that grittiness, whatever it takes, find a song that makes you run like Rocky Balboa. I don't know what it is. Get a camo shirt. There's some really cool camo shirts out. Color your hair. I don't know. Plaster your mirror with I am statements. If you need some ideas for some, trust me, message me. I've got a gazillion of them. I am bulletproof. I am created for greatness. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Whatever it is that fires you up. What are you believing for? Because I'm telling you right now, in this life, we don't get what we want in life. We get who we are. And honestly, I think it's a little bit more than that. We get what we deserve. John Maxwell always laughs, and he said, everything worth having is uphill, and nobody has ever slid into greatness. You never really hear, oh, it was just great, slid right in. Olympic athletes, gymnasts, they say they practice like 48 hours a week. Yes, that is a 4 and 8, 48 hours a week. How much time or work are you putting in to change your thinking, to grow your gritty mindset? What are you reading? What are you learning? What are you reflecting on? What are you writing down? It takes work. I mean, in order to change your thinking, sometimes some of us have patterns of thinking that we've had for years and years and years and years. Are you taking care of you? Y'all, self-care is so important. And it's something that I never did until I was in the back of the ambulance calling my friends and saying, I'm in the ambulance, and they didn't believe me. It wasn't until that night in ICU that I began to think, I might need to take care of myself. I mean, we all know the drill on the airplane, right? First, you put the oxygen mask on you. And why is that? Okay, so you can then assist your neighbor. It's a simple step, but it's a big payoff. And it works for you too. What got you here will not keep you here. And if you think that the same kind of thinking that got you in the place you are is going to move you to where you want to go, well, that's a daydream. You might as well just forget it. If you've ever asked yourself, I wonder if this is it, or what if it really did change? Trust me, I can stand here, sit here and tell you that it is the truth, and it will happen if you're willing to do the work. I'm so excited. We're going to be launching our Think and Grow Gritty boot camp. It's coming soon. More details on the way, but just so you know, for those of you already thinking into that, it's going to be a super reachable price for you. It's only going to be $49 for the 90-day training. And the beautiful part, my favorite part, is that it's going to be over my free conferencing, which means yoga pants for all. There's no video. You don't have to, have on lip gloss or anything. It's nothing like that. It's just going to be from the comfort of your own home or office. So it's like coaching with your best friends, growing together so we can become the best versions of ourselves. And honestly, this program that I'm going to be sharing with you, Think and Grow Gritty, I mean, it was the program. It was my starting place. It's how I discovered my blind spots and limiting beliefs. I never knew before that I had any. So it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, just started a business, if you're a stay-at-home mom, in school, out of school, never went to school. You have a purpose and you have a story, and you have a voice that someone is waiting to hear. I mean, have you ever really thought that you could be the answer to someone's prayers? Well, today that kind of happened in my life. I dropped a small birthday gift by a DJJ facility for a 17-year-old girl, and I'm talking about Skittles and a journal. I mean, it wasn't anything from Tiffany's or anything like that. I mean, and she looked at me and she said, "You made my day." And I thought, really? Skittles and a little journal. I don't tell you this to impress you, but to impress upon you. We got to get gritty. We got to become better. We got to go out and make a mess. We got to bust a move through that imaginary glass, because you were built for this. If this episode made you think and just kind of scrambled your eggs or fired you up, pass it on. And even if it didn't, pass it on, because maybe if it didn't work for you, it might work for somebody else. But please share this podcast. And remember, gritty is the new pretty. We become better from the inside out. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need to do the best with what we have, but let's start replacing these pitiful attitudes and stop taking pit stops along the way, and let's take some grit stops. Let's just really look at ourselves. Instead of a pity party, let's throw a gritty party. Oh my, I could go on. I've gone over. It's about 19 minutes. I'm supposed to stop at 15. So I'm going to shut up for now, but I love y'all. And remember, I believe in you. Now, go get gritty, and I'll see y'all next week.